Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, annyeonghaseyo to all. Let me begin by congratulating AKC on the 10th anniversary of the ASEAN Connectivity Forum. It's a great honor to be invited to speak at this forum once again. I had the privilege of speaking here in 2019, and today I'm happy to update on the progress of domestic land transport connectivity-related projects in Singapore and future development opportunities in the years ahead. Singapore's third Land Transport Master Plan, we call it LTMP 2040, is our North Star in terms of our domestic connectivity plans and implementation. And I will give a brief update on the progress of each of the three trusts, namely 20 minutes towns and 45-minute city, transport for all, and healthy lives, safer journeys. First, let me touch on inclusiveness under the transport for all. Over the years, barrier-free features like lifts and ramps have become the standard when designing our transport nodes, but inclusivity goes beyond that. We have also made enhancements to family-friendly features to make it easier for families with children to navigate our public transport networks. Such enhancements are in place at newer lines and more than half of our bus interchanges. We will continue to do so for future lines and explore improving them for existing lines. Another group of commuters that needs our care are our special needs group. So we work very closely with other government agencies and associations to develop new visual communication tools to better facilitate communication between transport staff and commuters who have hearing challenges. Our public transport nodes are also being listed as designated dementia to-go nodes, providing safe return points for staff to train to assist those with dementia. The Trust of Healthy Lives, Safer Journeys is aimed at promoting healthier living and creating a more livable Singapore. To support this, we have been exploring possible locations where our roads could be repurposed to include wider footpaths for shared usage, or even have them fully pedestrianized. Pedestrianizing some of our roads will also create opportunities for outdoor activities, for return to greenery, and adding vibrancy to our towns and districts. We are also in the process of expanding our cycling network across the island with a target of 1,300 kilometers of cycling paths by the year 2030. This, together with existing park connectors and recreational routes, will form active mobility corridors and make cross-island trips much more seamless for our cyclists and our walkers. We plan to have a cleaner energy fleet for our land transport sector by greening half of our buses and taxis by the year 2030. This will allow us to reduce the carbon emissions per vehicle, leading to a quieter and cleaner environment. We also aim to phase out ICE, internal combustion engine vehicles, and have all vehicles run on cleaner energy by the year 2040. To accelerate this transition, we recently awarded the tender for the deployment of EV, electric vehicles, charging points at almost 2,000 car park buildings in all our housing estates across Singapore by the end of 2025. The third and one of the most important thrusts of the LTMP 2040 is 20 minutes town, 45 minutes city. And Singapore's railway network is key to achieving that. Since I last spoke in 2019, we have weathered a global pandemic that has changed the way we work completely. But notwithstanding the challenges from the pandemic and geopolitical developments, we have managed to complete some of our key projects on the railway infrastructure as planned. In August 2021, last year, we opened Stage 2 of the Thomson East Coast Line, or TEL in short. This is indicated in the brown color. This comprised 6 stations, and just last month, we opened Stage 3, comprising 11 stations, linking the north of Singapore to the city center. Today, we have more than 140 stations across 6 MRT lines spanning across the island, with daily ridership of over 3 million. Since 2013, our rail network has grown from 180 kilometers to over 250 kilometers. For the other ongoing railway projects, by 2030, stages 4 and 5 of the Thomson East Coast Line, the Jurong Region Line, Cross Island Line Phase 1, extensions to North East Line and Downtown Line, as well as the closing of the loop for the Circle Line would have been completed. So there are a lot of works that are going on the MRT construction. And by that time, we would have doubled the route length of our rail network from that in 2013, and 80% of Singapore's households will be within a 10-minute walk to an MRT or LRT station. Looking ahead, we will also be carrying out feasibility studies for a potential new line to link the north and northeast regions of Singapore to the greater southern waterfront. Should this come to fruition, Singapore's total rail network would be almost 400 kilometers by around 2040. Besides expanding the rail network, we're also looking to enhance our roads and commuter facilities to create transit priority corridors across Singapore. These roads would have integrated bus lines and wider footpaths for shared usage. The ongoing North-South corridor was originally conceived as an expressway linking towns in the north to the city center. It was later redesignated to make it a more inclusive transport trunk. Once completed, the 21.5-kilometer North-South corridor will be Singapore's first integrated transit corridor to feature continuous bus lanes and cycling routes. While developing our public transport network, we remain mindful of the impact of land transport on the environment, given that this sector is the third largest contributor to CO2 emissions in Singapore. Guided by our National Green Plan, we have formulated the following 6 green strategies. The transition towards greener vehicles and rollout of more cycling paths, which I spoke of earlier, are key to the strategies of green commute and green vehicles. On the aspect of green infrastructure, we'll work towards infrastructure design which are energy efficient, such as utilizing natural ventilation, as well as the use of green materials for construction. Working together with our transport operators, we are exploring changes during the upgrade of our air conditioning systems and elevators to make the transport operations more green. On the strategy for green opportunities, in 2021, Singapore passed the Significant Infrastructure Government Loan Act, or SINGA, S-I-N-G-A in short, which allows the government to finance long-term infrastructure projects through borrowing rather than dipping into its national reserves. Earlier this year, Singapore issued its inaugural green bond to finance projects with environmental benefits, such as our railway lines. Finally, we also conduct outreach programs to schools and green plan conversations and work with the schools to encourage and cultivate walk, cycle, ride habits to our children. Taken all together, these strategies will steer our efforts in our fight against climate change. Singapore and the Republic of Korea always have strong bilateral trade links, with bilateral trade in 2021 amounting to Singapore dollar 56.2 billion. In terms of land transport, a growing number of construction firms from Korea have been involved in our infrastructure projects since 2007. However, with the high volume of ongoing and upcoming heavy civil engineering projects, we will need more established construction companies as well as specialist trade companies, such as those working on ground improvement, diaphragm wall construction, piling, and excavation works. And to this end, we had organized a special trip in early September to Seoul to share with Korean construction and specialist trade contractors on our project plans and invite them to participate in our ongoing and upcoming projects. Not limited to civil infrastructure projects, in recent years, we have also seen more Korean firms participating in our electrical and mechanical systems and services, as well as train tenders. Looking ahead, more infrastructure projects are being planned. The Cross Island Line, or CRL in short, will be Singapore's 8th MRT line and our longest fully underground at almost 50 kilometers long. It will connect major hubs in the western and eastern parts of Singapore. CRL Phase 2 was recently announced in September and will commence tender calling shortly. In fact, we have just awarded the most complicated package for tunneling under the Central Catchment Nature Reserve this week. For Cross Island Line CRL Phase 3, advanced engineering studies for the main line and depot were called in December 2021 to determine the alignment, and following that, we will be issuing tender packages. In addition to new lines, extensions will also be made to some of our existing MRT lines. In the northwestern part of Singapore, 2 new stations will be added. The first is an extension to the downtown line from Bukit Panjang to a new interchange station, Sungai Kodut, and the second is an additional station between Chua Chong Kheng and Bukit Gombak. Sorry for the names, but those who are familiar in Singapore will know that these are all very challenging projects. On the eastern part of Singapore, we will extend the Thomson East Coast Line, linking it from Sungai Bedok to Changi Airport via the new Terminal 5 that will be built by the CAS. Aside from rail projects, road developments are in the works, such as enhancements to major expressways and arterial roads in the east to complete the Changi Southern Road Corridor. And as we speak, the Changi Northern Road Corridor is also being constructed. This, together with the transit priority corridors that I shared earlier, will provide greater road connectivity to support developments and new growth areas. In early November 2022, we successfully held the Singapore International Transport Congress and Exhibition, SITC, the first time that a biennial SITC was held since the onset of the pandemic. Many meaningful dialogues and collaboration on urban mobility have taken place, and we look forward to hosting more of such events in the years ahead. As Singapore continues to invest in strengthening our transport links, we are happy to invite experienced and able Korean companies to visit Singapore to see for themselves the work being carried out under our LTMP 2040 and hopefully participate in our projects. And on this note, I would like to thank once again AKC for the opportunity to share on Singapore's land transport developments, and I look forward to continued partnership with Korean companies in the years ahead. Kamsahamnida. Thank you.